Hey guys, this is Mrs. Harbin, and this is Algebra 1. Today we are looking at Chapter 3, Section 6, which is all about money. And there's three different components that we're going to be looking at. So you can see here we've got Section 3.6a. We're going to have two more videos in this section, B and C, that will be dealing with some other components of money and percentages. Our objective or biblical correlation for this unit is this. Colossians 3:23 says, "Whatsoever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for men." And this is really going to come into play when we talk about money. Percentages and the percent equation has frequent financial application. It's used a lot in the finance world. And when we're talking about money, everybody wants to work hard to make a lot of money. That's kind of the American dream. But we need to remember that the reason that we're working is because we're working for the Lord, not for ourselves. That's going to help us to have a better understanding and a more godly understanding of money. Our lesson objective for today is this. You, the student, will find cost, markup rate, discount rate, retail price, and sale price. Now, more so than any lesson that we've done before, this particular lesson has a lot of vocabulary. Because we're dealing with the world of finance, you're going to learn a lot of financial terms. So when you guys are taking notes today, be sure to write down the examples, but also be sure that you write down those vocabulary words. You will see those again on the weekly quiz and on the unit test. So make sure that you have a good understanding of those words. One other thing I want to remind us about is this worldview connection. Remember, when we talk about worldview, we're talking about creation, fall, and redemption. Essentially, how did God create things to be? What happened when man sinned after the fall? And what can we do to try and redeem or restore God's creation? When we look at creation, we always go back to that creation mandate. We were created to have dominion over the earth. And what that means is that we were created to take care of God's creation. That includes the actual physical earth itself and the other things that he's created, like the animals and other people. So we are supposed to take care of what God has created. Money and other resources can help us do that. We can use our money to help take care of other people, to be generous. We can use our money to care for animals, maybe animals that are extinct or animals that need a home. We can use our money to help take care of the planet itself by providing maybe funding for clean water. So there are all different kinds of ways that we can actually use money in a positive way to have dominion over the earth. However, what happens with the fall in all aspects of life is after man sinned, this original intention became distorted. And so instead of using money to have dominion over the earth, we see that people started using money for their own pleasures instead of caring for creation. This leads to greediness and charging people unfair interest or borrowing more than you can pay back, being enslaved to debt. And so we see that money became kind of an idol in people's lives, and it wasn't used as it was intended to be used. When we're talking about then redemption, how can we make things better? Well, we as Christians can model how to use money wisely and fairly to have dominion over the earth. We can show people the proper way to use money and the right way to use money to have dominion over the earth and not just for our own selfish pleasures. And so when we're thinking about money and all the uses of money in this particular lesson, keep that in mind, that knowing how to use money properly is important to living a life the way that God intended us to live our lives. All right, so let's get started with this quick review. Hopefully you haven't forgotten, but percent, don't forget, is a ratio of a number to 100. As a fraction, we would write that as 75 over 100, or 75 out of 100. As a decimal, 0.75, which is 75 hundredths. And then using the percent sign, we would use 75%. The most common way that we're going to be using as a percent in math equations is as a decimal. So to change a percent to a decimal, we can just take that percent sign and move it to the left 2 spaces, and we've got ourselves 0.75 or 75 hundredths. So make sure that you can convert between decimals and percentages because you are going to be using decimals. Our percent equation that we reviewed in a previous lesson and practiced using is that percent times the whole equals a part. And we're going to be using that a lot in our lesson for today. Here are some definitions that you do need to be familiar with as we are talking about money and retail. So first is cost, and the cost is the amount a merchant pays for the merchandise he will sell. Whenever you go shopping anywhere like Kohl's or JCPenney or Walmart, those stores didn't actually make those goods. They had to buy that merchandise from the people who made them. So Walmart had to buy the milk from dairy farmers, and Kohl's had to buy the clothing from the different clothing companies that made that clothing. And what they pay, the amount that the merchant pays, is called the cost. The markup is the amount that the merchant adds to his cost to arrive at the retail price. So let's say, let's just use a shirt for example. Let's say you've got this shirt that Kohl's has seen. That is a really ugly shirt, but they've seen it, they want to buy it, so maybe they buy it for a cost of $10. Well, they're not going to sell it for $10 because they wouldn't make any money. So they're going to come up with a markup, which is the amount that they will add to that cost to arrive at the retail price, which is the price that you see in the stores. And they might mark it up by 50% or 75%, but they're going to add a certain percentage to that before they sell it to you, the consumer. The markup rate is the amount of markup on an item as a percent of its cost. Again, this might be 50% of the original cost, or 50% more than the original cost, or 75% more than the original cost. But that's what we refer to as the markup rate. To find out our total price here, we have the markup is equal to the markup rate times the cost. So again, let's say we have this shirt that we referenced, and it's not going to get any prettier, I'm sorry to say. And maybe the original cost of that shirt that Kohl's buys it for is $10. And they want to sell that shirt for more than the $10. They want to sell it for 75% more than. So 100% of the $10 plus another 75%. Doing that math would help us to figure out what the markup is on that particular shirt. We can use that part equals percent times whole formula to help us figure that information out as well. So markup equals markup rate times cost is just the percent formula but using different words. We can find our cost plus our markup then and add those two things together to get our retail price. The retail price is the price that you see on the price tag when you go into the store to buy something. It's more than what the store paid for it because they're trying to make a profit. The retail price, like I just said, is the merchant's cost plus the markup. It's the regular amount that a merchant asks a customer to pay for merchandise. So again, when you go into a store and you see a number on a price tag, that's the retail price. That's what you, the customer, are being asked to pay for it. It is not what the merchant or what the store paid for it. Now, occasionally, stores do offer discounts, and this discount rate is the percent by which the retail price is reduced. So if we're going to continue using Kohl's as our example, they might have a sale or a discount rate of 25% or 30%. Sorry, I had to pause my video to take care of my dog, and I don't remember exactly what I was saying right before I paused it. So let's just kind of repeat here. The discount rate is the percent by which the retail price is reduced. So occasionally stores will give us a discount rate to encourage us, to buy more of their product. We see these discount rates typically around holidays, but some stores seem to offer discount rates all of the time. The discount then is the amount by which the retail price is reduced. So the discount rate is a percentage. The discount is a dollar amount. The sale price is the customer's cost after the retail price has been discounted. So you have your original price, the retail price, you have this discount rate, which is a percentage or a discount, and then we have this sale price is what we pay. Now all of this should be familiar to you guys because I'm assuming you've shopped before, although maybe the terminology is a little bit new or different from what you've used in the past. To figure out our discount, we would take the discount rate times the retail price equals the discount. To relate that back to our percent formula, that is the percent times the whole equals the part. And then to figure out our total sale price, we would then take the retail price minus the discount to get our ending sale price. So let's take a look at example 1. This is example 1 from your book, page 123. And it's about a sporting goods store that's marking up all of their clothing 75%. So they have their costs, what they pay, a markup rate of 75%. And we're going to try to figure out then what the retail price is. So don't forget, markup rate times the cost is our markup amount, dollar amount. So our markup rate is 75%. That's 0.75. Our cost was $15. So our markup amount is $11.25. That's what's being marked up on this $15 shirt. So to find our retail price, we would then take our cost, which was $15, add the markup price, which was $1.25, to find our retail price, which is $26.25. So this is a two-step problem here. Use the rate to find the markup, and then use the markup to find the retail price. We could have also done it this way. The retail price is also the cost plus 75% times the cost. In this case, we want to pay 100% of the original cost. That's 100% of the $15 plus another 75% more. And we're going to take that times the original cost. So that's 175% times the original cost of $15, which gives us a total of $26.25. So if you don't want to do it two steps and you want to do it all in one step, you can also solve it this way, using the 100 plus 75% of the cost. Example 2 from our text on page 123, we are determining the retail price of a tennis racket. If Paolo saved $52.50 by buying it during the 30% off sale, how much did he pay for the racket on sale? So we are trying to find that original price and then how much he paid for the racket on sale. And we know how much he saved and we know what the percent was. So let's use this. We have our discount rate times the retail price equals the discount. Well, we know the discount rate, that percentage was 30% off. And we know the discount. We know he saved $52.50. So we can plug in what we know and then solve for what we don't know. What we don't know was our original retail price. But by dividing both sides by 0.3, we can find out that R equals 52.5 divided by 0.3, and plugging that into your calculator, you find the original retail price was $175. Well, we want to know how much he paid for it after the sale. So we know our sale price is the retail price minus the discount price. The retail price was $175, and we know that he saved $52.50 in this discount. So that tells us he paid $122.50 for this tennis racket. Or you could do it this way. Our sale price is equal to retail price minus discount. Retail price minus the discount rate times the retail price. We can use substitution and replace discount with what we know the discount equals, discount rate times retail price. And then we can plug in what we know. Retail price minus 0.3 times the retail price. That's 0.7 of the retail price. Okay, so this was 100% of the retail price. Minus 0.3% of the retail price gives us 0.7 of the retail price. So he paid 70% of the original retail price. Well, we could also then go back and figure that out with a few more steps. All right, so here are a few more definitions that you are going to need to know when we're talking about money. So a definition that we use often when we're talking about maybe restaurants or hairdressers is a tip. And a tip is the amount paid for a personal service. The tip rate times the total bill equals the amount of the tip. Again, going back to that percent equation, we have a percent times the whole equals the part. Commission is the dollar amount an employee receives as a result of the sales he makes. Car salesmen often get paid a commission. The rate is the percent used to determine a tip or commission based on the amount of the bill or an employee's sales. So commission rate times the total sales equals how much commission the person makes. So car salesmen make a percentage of their sales, and the servers get paid a percentage of the dinner bill. Again, let's go back to that percent times the whole equals a part.